Are you thinking of starting a PhD anytime soon? Congratulations, because you have decided to do the highest possible education in the world. However, it is very important that you should be very clear about your decision of doing a PhD, because PhD is not a joyride on a smooth carpeted road. Rather, it is a very rough ride on a bumpy road. And if you are not ready for all the bad surprises during your PhD, I think this is the time, at least the best time, to think otherwise. If you're not well versed about your expectations from a PhD and you're confused about what to expect from a PhD, don't worry. Because in this video, I'm going to give you a set of questions that will serve as a self-assessment tool for you. So you should ask these questions from yourself before starting a PhD, and I'm pretty sure that they will help you in making a better decision. For those who are new to my channel, welcome to Science with Dr. Z. My name is Zawad. I am a pharmacist by training and I have done my PhD from France, and these days I'm working as a scientist in a contract research organization. First question, are you willing to commit for a duration of 3 to 5 years? Well, obviously, commitment is very important in every decision you make in your life. But this thing takes an extra importance when it comes to deciding to go for a PhD. There are several reasons for that. One of the obvious reasons is the duration of PhD, because a typical PhD can take somewhere between 3 to 5 years. Because in Europe, a typical PhD takes a minimum 3 years, but in North America, it can go beyond 6 years. So you should be very clear about yourself that you are ready to commit for this long duration. Besides the long duration of the PhD, the nature of PhD itself is very important. That's why I'm saying that you should be ready to commit for this for PhD. In PhD, you're doing research and things sometimes are not in your hand and they are not working as you want them to work. So when things are not working that way, of course, it takes extra motivation and commitment. And if you're not committed and motivated to do a PhD, you can give up very easily. So it is very important before you jump into PhD, you should consider these things, that it is going to take somewhere between 3 to 5 years and even 6 years based on your hosting institute. And secondly, it's going to give you some kind of bad surprises, because after all, at the end of the day, it's research and it's not in your hand. Number 2, are you ready for a financial compromise for the duration of your PhD? What? Financial compromise? Yes, you hear me right. Because PhD is not a very highly paid job. And on top of that, it is very long. So as a matter of fact, PhD stipend in most countries is somewhere around the minimum national wages. If you ask me for a range of PhD stipend, I think it is very difficult to give you a range. For example, in Europe, there is a huge difference between different countries. Like for example, in France, Austria, Norway, Switzerland, there is a huge difference in the PhD stipend. But if you consider the example of France, every university has a different limit for the PhD stipend. But in France, most of the universities, the minimum monthly stipend for the PhD student is somewhere around 1,500 euros. But if you consider the living expenses in most countries in France, I think 1,500 euros is not enough. And you should also consider that most of the PhD students might have a family to support, because most of the PhD students, they are married and they might have kids. From a personal standpoint, when I started my PhD, I was a bachelor with no financial liabilities whatsoever. But I got married during my PhD, and I had one kid. I became father, so it increased my financial responsibility. But thankfully, all those decisions were very thoughtful and they didn't impact me a lot. But that might not be the case with you. So this is my advice, that you should weigh out all the different possibilities and think ahead of time that what you are going to do during your PhD years to make a balanced decision. Question number 3. Do you want to make a career in academia? Well, this is one of the most important questions that you should ask from yourself before starting a PhD. Why I'm saying so? Because this question, the answer to this question could serve as the deciding factor for your PhD path. If you are firm in your decision of making an academic career, and from academic career, I mean if you're looking for a position like a teaching position or a research position in higher education institutions, I would say that you should ignore all other questions and you should go for a PhD. Because to the best of my knowledge, most of the prerequisite of having a PhD degree is same all across the world for the academic positions. And there are, I mean, possibly there are like very few exceptions, but all those positions where a PhD is not required, they are either in low income countries or they are for like non-academic administrative positions in these educational institutions. So in a nutshell, if you are firm about your decision of making an academic career at any cost, ignore everything, ignore other questions, and just do a PhD. Because I can guarantee you that you can never ever make a career in academia without having a PhD. Question number 4. Where do you want to see yourself in 10 years? Now, it is a very logical and rational approach for all the big decisions in your life, and deciding for PhD is no exception. If you have a clear picture and goal in your mind for where do you want to see yourself in next 10 years, it will greatly help you to decide for a PhD. Take for example, if you are looking and targeting for an assistant professor or an associate professor in a university, I think PhD is a must do for you, as I already said. On the other side, if you are targeting a managerial position in a company, I think there are better options to go for that position. So extrapolate yourself in a future timeline and see if getting a PhD is helping you to achieve your goal or it will make no difference at the end of the day. So think about it. Next question. Are you doing a PhD just to earn better in future? Now, doing a PhD or planning to do a PhD with an ambition to earn better in future is a very common but irrational approach. In real life, I have seen countless examples where students are doing PhD just with an aim, with a hope that they will earn better. Now, as a matter of fact, unfortunately, with the exceptions aside, most of the time non-PhDs, they are better off than PhDs in term of overall or even average income. Now, many might disagree with my statement, including my wife, because she's recording the video and she's also a PhD student, and she's saying no way. But as a matter of fact, I mean, if you make careful calculations, and first of all, if you want to earn better, I think you have many other better options which are way more rewarding and much more easier than doing a PhD. But if you want to calculate, if you make a very careful calculation, I think that the money that a non-PhD would earn during your PhD years would alone make a huge gap. And on top of that, if you decide to go for a postdoctoral fellowship after your PhD, for 1 year, 2 years, sometimes the students, they go for 3 to 4 years of postdoc. If you decide to do a postdoc, the difference that it will create, like all these 7 to 8 years, it will be very hard to overcome that or to compensate that difference from a non-PhD who has started earning better from the day one of your graduate school. So I think if you want to do, if the only mindset, I mean, your only reason of doing a PhD is to earn better, there are like many other better options. I know it could be a very controversial statement, but I mean, it's a very deep, very complicated topic as well. I can make a different video where I can share my experience. I can also share my salaries if you want during the PhD and after PhD, and we can discuss everything like what an average PhD would earn after graduating from the university, and what a non-PhD would earn So in my opinion, if this is your only motivation that you want to earn better, I would say, it is my personal opinion, that you should think otherwise. So, I mean, this is a set of 5 questions that you should ask yourself before starting a PhD, and I'm pretty sure that it will help you a lot in making a better decision. I'm really sorry I have to end my video at this point, and I would like to make another video particularly on the topic that how much a PhD earn as compared to a non-PhD, because right now we are doing a lot of arguments between me and my wife, and we will discuss it more in detail, and we will come back with the conclusion. As you know, always, she's always right. So until then, have a very good time and take care of yourself, and I'll see you in next video. Thank you very much.